Hello and welcome to another Magic the Gathering video. So we're moving on through our nostalgic look at modern era sets. We've got 3 packs of Planar Chaos in front of us now. I'm going to open another 3 packs in the next video next week. So Planar Chaos is part of this Time Spiral block, very complex block. I think when it came out apparently people were pretty split. If you're a new player it was completely overwhelming. If you're an existing player then obviously there's a lot of nostalgia in here, but there's a lot going on. It's a really busy set. The size of the set's 165 cards, and obviously it's a small set, second set, no tournament packs, so we're just opening boosters here. We've got 5 boosters, and I'm just going to do a bit of a preamble to give it some sort of framework which we can think about this. I'm always a bit conflicted about doing these preambles, and I just want to get on and open the packs, but I think it's worth it, particularly with this set and this block as a whole. So what are we looking for? I'll go back to the time shifted cards in a moment. So that's one of the themes. We've got split cards in here. We've got rebels, slivers, thalids, spell shapers. Then we've got other things like keywords and abilities such as echo, flanking, flash, kicker, madness, morph, split second, suspend, vanishing. If you want to know more about this set, it's always good to check the MTG wiki at mtg.gamepedia.com. That's where I get all my information about the earlier sets, which I didn't play at the time, but subsequently I've played online. So the set size, 165 cards, 60 commons, 55 uncommons, 50 rares. Within that, as a subset, were 45 time shifted cards. Now we've come across this concept of time shifting before in the previous set, in the Time Spiral set. So what happened there was they bolted on some cards to the set. So they're additional cards because they came from Magic's history and they'd existed in their own right from earlier sets. This is slightly different this time around. The time shifted cards exist as a subset within those 165 cards, and so 10 of the rares, 15 of the uncommons and 20 of the commons are these time shifted cards. So the theme of the time shifted cards this time around is the alternate present, because the block as a whole was a time themed block. And so what they did for those time shifted cards is, you'll notice that there's a slight difference on the border, and when I open them, because I know for a fact we're definitely going to open them, I'll point out the difference, and I'll show you by looking at the same sort of card, well, the same color card between the time shifted and the non-time shifted, and you'll see it pops out a bit better when you've got them side by side. When you look at it, you go that this card looks different, and it's because the frame is the colouring on the frame is different. Now, the reason why I'm so confident about pulling time shifted cards is because what they did is they seeded the packs in a certain way. So within the packs you have 8 normal commons, 3 time shifted commons, 2 normal uncommons, 1 normal rare, and 1 time shifted rare or uncommon card. So again, something to look out for. You'll see that sort of reoccurring breakdown in the packs. One of the things you'll notice about the time shifted cards, if you played Magic for a while, you'll think that card looks familiar. That's because one of the things with the time shifting was, in reality what it was a form of colour shifting. So what you'll notice is there might be a spell in white which really you would think would be in blue, so that you might come across a counter spell in white, which clearly is some sort of functional reprint or very similar to a blue counter spell. You might see a board sweeper in black, which you think, well, that's very similar to something I'd normally see in white, so that sort of thing. Or a creature, you might look at a creature and think, I'm sure I've seen the same creature, but previously in, say, you know, a black creature that may have been in a completely different colour originally. So there's a lot of that going on. You'll also notice within that some abilities which you would normally and typically find in one colour appear in another. So things like white having shroud in it, or regeneration, or countering, or blue having vigilance and the ability to destroy creatures, black having things like first strike or some sort of control effect or tap down, red having reach or some sort of pump effect, which is more common, say, in green. I know you get pump in red, but the way it's done would be more like a green pump. And then green having flying, haste, card drawing effects, that sort of stuff. So that's the things to look out for. There's a number of cycles in the set. I'm just going to rattle through like I normally do the 10 cycles, the regular cycles. I'm not going to mention any of the vertical cycles. So you've got alternate legendary creatures, charms, colour shifted reprints, which I've mentioned, and there's cycles of those. Common slivers, enemy colour slivers, legendary dragons in the set. Magi, spell shifters, suspend cards or suspend X cards, and vanishing creatures. In terms of the chase cards, and we might as well always mention this, we're looking out for obviously Damnation, the most expensive card in this set, I understand. It's around $30. Then we've got Urborg, Tomb of Yawgmoth, so that's around 17-18 bucks. And then things like Extirpate, Peripheral Nodes, and Retether, so they're around about the $5 to $7 mark. And then most of the cards below that are all below about $5. The most expensive uncommon is Psychotrope Phalid. It's around $5. And there's a whole load of sort of around $3 to $5 uncommons like Necrotic Sliver and Big Game Hunter and Pongify. I believe the most expensive common in the set is Sinew Sliver at around $270, and also Simian Spirit Guides around about $250, $260. So just we can maybe pick out those chase cards in their various rarities if they come up. But obviously, as you always know, this is really more about the nostalgia. So I'll get on and open these packs. Zoom this in a little bit. Oops, not too far. Try and keep this as level as I can. So first up is Spitting Sliver, and this one has all slivers have first strike. Then we've got Veiling Oddity with Suspend 4 on it. So it's 3 and a blue to cast. With Suspend 4, you pay 1 and a blue. Rather than play this card from your hand, you may pay 1 and a blue and remove it from the game with 4 time counters on it. At the beginning of your upkeep, remove a time counter. When the last is removed, play it without paying its mana cost. It has haste. When the last time counter is removed from Veiling Oddity while it's removed from the game, creatures are unblockable this turn. And that's an illusion. Synchronous Sliver. All slivers have vigilance. We've got a giant dust wasp with Suspend 4 on it. Here's one of our cycle of charms. We've got Dawn Charm, 1 and a white. Choose one, prevent all combat damage that will be dealt this turn, or regenerate target creature, or counter target spell that targets you. We have a Brain Gorger or Brain Gorgeous, with Madness, 1 and a black. So with Madness, if you discard this card, you may play it for its Madness cost instead of putting it into your graveyard. Keldon Marauders with Vanishing 2. So this permanent comes into play with 2 time counters on it. At the beginning of your upkeep, remove a time counter from it. When the last is removed, sacrifice it. Ghost Tactician. So here's the one. Let me just switch to that red card because then it's easier to see the difference with the frame. So you can see already. So this is a time shifted card. It's Prodigal Pyromancer, 2 and a red, creature, human, wizard, tap. Prodigal Pyromancer deals 1 damage to target creature or player, and it's a 1/1. It's rather ironic this because, you know, we're used to seeing red pingers, but this is a nod to the fact that Tim, as it's affectionately called, was a blue pinger basically. So in relation to that, this is time shifted, and you can see here it's white on red as opposed to black on the really light shade of red there, and the same down here. So what you tend to find is that it really makes these 2 areas of the frame really pop by that having that darker background and changing the text to white from black. And you'll notice generally the frame between the black border and the inner frame, that sort of marbling effect, everything's a lot darker. The marbling background on the rules text is darker, all of that, so it just makes the whole frame pop a bit, gives it a bit more of a, I find, a bit more like a 3-dimensional look. And we've got another charm. There's Piracy Charm. Healing Leaves. Choose 1. Target player gains 3 life or prevent the next 3 damage that will be dealt to target creature or player this turn. So you can see how that's something that you would normally see in white. And we've got Necrotic Sliver. So this is our uncommon. And we have a Stone Cloaker. We have Shrouded Law at uncommon and time shifted card. So single black, target opponent choose a card in your graveyard, you pay black. If you do, repeat this process except that opponent can't choose a card already chosen for Shrouded Law, then put the last chosen card into your hand. Looks like a very black thing to do, but on some level that's been time shifted. And our rare is Dust Elemental. So it's 2 and 2 white. Creature elemental with flash, flying and fear. When Dust Elemental comes into play, return 3 creatures you control to their owner's hands, and that's a 6/6. So just again to clarify here, this slot here could either be a rare time shifted card or an uncommon. We got an uncommon, and this is always going to be our rare slot here. I'm trying to think if I've ever seen a foil or ever. I think this is probably the first time I've actually opened physical Planar Chaos packs. Maybe I've done it once before, like 1 pack. So it'll be interesting to see what the foils look like for the time shifted cards. So we've got Cradle to Grave, Reflex Sliver, Dreamscape Artist, Poultice Sliver. Certainly the set wants you to play slivers. Dash Hopes, Shade of Trocare, which has Suspend 3 on it. Vitaspore Thallid. Remember I said Thallids were a thing in this set. Brain Gorgeous, which has Madness on it. And now we're moving on to our time-shifted cards. Essence Warden. Single green, 1/1. Whenever another creature comes into play, you gain 1 life. Where have we seen that before? Some of the artwork as well, you'll notice, is a sort of homage to the card that it was time-shifted from. Brute Force, single red, target creature gets +3/+3 until end of turn. I'm sure we recognise that as a time-shifted version of something. Oh, Mana Tithe. We're getting some classic ones here that are easy to recognise. So single white, counter target spell unless its controller pays 1 colourless or 1 colour of any mana. Dormant Sliver. So moving on to our uncommons. Sulphur Elemental has flash on it and split second. So with split second, as long as this spell is on the stack, players can't play spells or activated abilities that aren't mana abilities. And white creatures get +1, -1. So yeah, we actually do have a rare time-shifted card here. So Groundbreaker, triple green, creature elemental. It's a 6/1 with trample, haste, at end of turn, sacrifice Groundbreaker. One thing I really noticed with this now, I've had a chance to look at this, and I don't know if this is popping as well on the camera as it is here, but having that darker background just really makes the set symbol stand out. But, you know, with some set symbols, when you look at the gold cards, it's sometimes a bit difficult to see that colour. With this, that's really popping out there. We've got our actual rare is Spell Shift, which is 3 and a blue, instant, counter target, instant or sorcery spell. Its controller reveals cards from the top of his or her library until he or she reveals an instant or sorcery card. That player may play that card without paying its mana cost, then he or she shuffles his or her library. That's pretty cool so far. I think probably of the 3 sets, and I'll probably change my mind when I get onto the last set in the block, the Futures site. I think it is. I think this is probably my favourite set to open. So we've got Failing Oddity, 3 and a blue with Suspend 4 for 1 and a blue. Ridged Kusite or Kusite, which is a horror spell shaper. Saltfield Recluse. Needle Peak Spider. Wistful Thinking. It's actually interesting looking at the non-time shifted cards. Even the non-time shifted cards, they've messed about with things in terms of the colour. Keldon Marauders has Vanishing 2 on it. Dash Hopes. See, 2 black, instant. When you play Dash Hopes, any player may pay 5. If a player does, counter Dash Hopes, counter target spell. Shade of Trachea. Vampiric Link. Single black, enchant creature. Whenever enchanted creature deals damage, you gain that match life. I think the big difference between the regular cards and the so-called time-shifted cards is that they are a specific card that's been shifted in colour. With the non-time shifted cards, they have messed with the colour pie and what those things do, but it's not necessarily a specific card that it's a colour shifted reprint of. We've got Gossamer Phantasm. That's a pretty cool card. That really pops out actually in that whole card. 1 and a blue. So 2/1 with flying. When Gossamer Phantasm becomes the target of a spell or ability, sacrifice it. Oh, another Prodigal Pyromancer. We move on to our uncommons. Venerian Glimmer. It's funny, I look at some of these actual time shifted cards and go, actually that's not that time shifted. Stormfront Riders. We have another Shrouded Law. And our rare is Volcano Helion. 2 and 2 red, creature Helion, it's a 6/5. Volcano Helion has Echo X, where X is your life total. When Volcano Helion comes into play, it deals an amount of damage of your choice to you and target creature. That damage can't be prevented. Now, off the top of my head, and someone, one of the viewers here can correct me if I'm wrong, I believe with Echo what happened there was that you actually had to pay the Echo cost the next term after it come into play, otherwise it got sacrificed. But correct me there if I've got that horribly wrong. There's no reminder text in there for Echo. So it's an older ability, I believe. It's the trouble, I was relying on the reminder text being these for some of these. So, Maya Boa, Utopia Vow, Veiling Oddity. Again, remember, because this is a small set, you tend to see repeats of commons a lot sooner than with a larger set. Ridge Kusite, Saltfield Recluse, got a Dash Hopes, Aquamorph Entity, so we've got Morph in here as well. Where are we? As Aquamorph Entity comes into play or is turned face up, it becomes your choice of a 5/1 or a 1/5. Morph for 2 and a blue. You may play this face down as a 2/2 creature for 3, turn it face up any time for its morph cost. Shade of Trocare, I think that's the third one now actually. Okay, so we're moving on to our time shifted cards. We've got a Sun Lance here, single white. Sun Lance deals 3 damage to target non-white creature. Fadia Seer, 1 and a green, 1/1. Draw a card and reveal it. If it isn't a land card, discard it. Bog Serpent. Then our first uncommon here is Frenetic Sliver. Bit of coin flipping shenanigans going on there. We've got Salt Blast. Destroy target non-white permanent. We have a time-shifted card at uncommon, which is Pyrahemia, 2 and 2 red enchantment. At end of turn, if no creatures are in play, sacrifice Pyrahemia. Single red Pyrahemia deals 1 damage to each creature and each player. Cool, we have a Chroma Angel of Fury. So it's 5 and 3 red for a 6/6 legendary creature angel. A Chroma Angel of Fury can't be countered. Flying, trample, protection from white, protection from blue. A single red, a Chroma Angel of Fury gets +1/+1 until end of turn, and it's got Morph, 3 and 3 red. You may play this card for face down as a 2/2 creature for 3, turn it face up any time for its morph cost. So the other thing to remember, and I did mention this, there's a cycle of legendaries. And these legendaries actually are legendaries that previously have been in another colour. They're not just a reprint in a colour shifted into another colour. They're actually a completely different card, but they are in a different colour than the legendary would have been on its original printing in Magic. And our last one here There's another needle peak spider. Poultice sliver. Giant dust wasp with suspend on it. Oh. Here's one of these. The first one of this type of card we've got. So dead and gone. Single red for the dead part. Gone is 2 and a red. Dead deals 2 damage to target creature. And gone is return target creature you don't control to its owner's hand. Dreamscape Artist. Kelden Marauders. We've got a Dash Hopes. Another Shade of Trocare. Another Essence Warden. Another Bog Serpent. We have a Primal Plasm. So this one, let's have a look at this. I don't think we've seen one of these yet. So we're still at common, 3 in a blue, creature, elemental, shapeshifter, stars, it's power toughness. So in the rules text we have, as Primal Plasma comes into play, it becomes your choice for a 3/3 creature, a 2/2 creature with flying, or a 1/6 creature with defender. I'm trying to rack my brains. That's actually based on an artifact from way back. Is it Primal Clay? I think that might be the card. Rebuff the Wicked. Enslave. So there you see a card. We've got the regular border here, but clearly that sort of card belongs in blue. So 4 and 2 black, enchant creature, you control enchanted creature. At the beginning of your upkeep, enchanted creature deals 1 damage to its owner. So there's the other thing is there's a bit of a twist in there. So it's almost like things that would happen in both colours. So you've got a card, clearly that in a normal set would belong in blue, but there's still a very sort of black thing in there of doing, you know, some sort of damage drain at the beginning of the upkeep. So I'm trying to think of the term of that. In Magic there's a card that does that every turn. It does 1 damage. Because it's and again, if someone can remember what the card is, please comment. Frozen Ether, 3 in a blue, enchantment, artifacts, creatures and lands your opponent's control come into play tapped. Haha! Excellent. I was hoping we either get this or a damnation. Urborg Tomb of Yawgmoth, legendary land. Each land is a swamp in addition to its other land types. Very cool. So there we have it. I hope you've enjoyed that. It's a fairly long video, but there's lots to see in this, and I think I'd be doing it a great disservice if I didn't spend a bit of time looking at the different things within the set. There's very complex stuff going on in this block as a whole. Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye for now.